Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm glad you could join me today. Today's card we will be making this beautiful Christmas card using a technique called Mosaic, and that's this part right here. As you can see, maybe, this is shiny, this is actually embossed, the in-between little cracks, and I'll show you how to do that. The first step is taking one of our adhesive sheets, and there are 12 in a package, and these are 6 by 12. And we're also needing a piece of 2 by 5 inch just plain white cardstock. What I found worked best is in using these sheets, they have little score marks on them to pull off. Okay, wrong side. Alright, they have these score marks, and so when you use them, they're very, very sticky. So you have to pull off just a little bit of it, and I just crease it a little bit, and these are 2 inches, these score marks, so that makes it a lot easier. So we're just setting that. I'm going to go from the bottom so that I can make sure that it's going to be straight along the sides, because any adhesive that sticks out the sides will stick to everything, and you don't want that. So I'm lining it up on the side here, pushing down and pulling this down and just pushing it along the side. Now, instead of pulling this all off and having all this sticky part, this is all sticky right here, I'm pushing this back up and pushing that over. I'm using a scissors with a Teflon coating on it. It just keeps it from your regular scissors getting gucked up. So I'm just trimming this off there and off along the other side. And that's the best way I found to use the adhesive strips without getting everything all full of sticky. So now the sticky is on this side of it, and to get the mosaic look, we will be taking some strips. These are 1/2 inch by the length of the paper, so these are 8.5. You don't need that much. So I'm using Cajun Craze, Mossy Meadow, Cherry Cobbler, and cinnamon cider. So I take them all together and I just cut them into little pieces about 1/2 inch, and you can do them on an angle or you can do them straight. I do them all at the same time and they like to go flying, so you might have to and you just cut a bunch. And so then I pick them up, they're all over the place. Alright, oops. So what I found worked the best is you use your pickup tool and just take one side, left or right. I'm using left, and I peel off a little bit of the backer on the adhesive, leaving the adhesive down. So this part is all sticky right here, and this part I'm just going to pull down just a little bit and crease it. If you pull it all off, the chances of you getting your hand stuck in it or something stuck is greater. So now I'm just placing these pieces. They're in random order, and I'm placing them right on top of the adhesive and kind of going in order of the colors. And you just line them up, leaving about 1/8 inch in between. Pull this piece down a little bit. Do the next row. Again, random. You don't need to do any specific order. And then that one's on there. These I do try to stagger a little bit so that it's not just one line up and down. I'll just do a couple rows here to show you, and then I'll show you a completed one. You just put that in there, and you can see that they're sticking and they're not straight either. It just gives a better look. and you just keep bringing it down. And this is how the second row should have been. I staggered it almost like brick. So you can see how this design is forming. Okay. And you just continue doing this until you have the whole sheet completed. That one is way off. Oops. Okay. So this is what it looks like. And then I'm just putting this aside. So I completed one already for you. So this is what your final piece will look like. So they're just sort of wonky all over the place, and they do go off the paper. So now you would just trim this, trim the excess. You can go from the back or the front. And again, using the scissors, because it does have a little adhesive on it, does help. Otherwise, if you do get adhesive on your scissors, you can use an alcohol wipe or one of those little pads. I clean my blocks off with those all the time, but rubbing alcohol will get your scissors clean. Just have to be careful you don't cut yourself. It removes all the residue. There are other ways, but that to me I found is the cheapest. Okay, so here's my piece all ready to put the gold on. And I'm using gold embossing powder. I like to keep my embossing powder in a bigger container. It's just easier to work with. So we're putting it like this. There's no need to use the embossing buddy because you may risk removing some of the glue. Okay, and I'll do the other side. And the embossing powder sticks to the glue. Oops. And now we'll just heat it. I don't know why we have a couple of these little dots here. Evidently there's no glue there. Okay, now we'll just heat it up. And I like to use, this is just a piece of cardboard with aluminum foil over the top, and I use a clothespin. It just makes it easier to hang on to it. And the aluminum foil will do two things. It helps a little bit for curling because it absorbs the heat, and it also helps you to not burn yourself and gives you something to hang on to. So let's heat it up. Okay, now we have our heat emboss piece, and that's how we get the design. You can use any color of embossing powder. I've done this before in the past with black, or you could do white, any color. I'm just using gold. Okay, the next step is assembling the card. I'm using soft suede and a piece of half of a piece of cardstock, which is 5.5 by 8.5, and I did a 4 by 5.25 inch piece, and this is embossed with the texture folder. We'll just put that on. And then we will adhere our piece that we just embossed on the back. A lot of embossing powder all over. Now this had a couple little white spots that didn't emboss. You could take some glue and re-emboss that, put it on, put embossing powder, but this will be covered up anyway, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, we'll just stick that on there. I'm using the Dove of Hope bundle. This is we're using the Sentiment Peace on Earth, and the dies that go with it, it's the dove and one of the wings. I've also cut out, Here's my pieces. I've also cut a little piece of gold foil, and I've used this punch. These were longer strips, and I just put it in this side of the punch, and you get this little topper, and it looks like an ornament top. And I used, this is the designer paper from Old World Designer Paper, and this is punched with the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. So let's assemble it. The dove has dimensionals on the back, and just put one behind the eye and a couple on the body. And then, let's see, put that about here. Looks kind of funny without the wing on there. So we have that piece. And then the wing, we will glue it on flat, and we just need a little adhesive on the top of the wing, and we'll put that so it doesn't extend off the card. Just stick that right there. And then we are going to put some dimensionals on our globe, and I'm using several because you want to put one in the center. This is just paper, and you don't want it to be bubbly and have indentations inside of it because it's just paper. To avoid that, you could stamp a 2 1/4 inch circle out of cardstock and then just glue it onto that. And so I just got those ready. Next we will take our little gold piece and our ribbon, and it's just a piece that is about 6 inches long. We're putting a little adhesive on the back here and just sticking it like so. And then I'm putting a little adhesive on the circle itself rather than the gold. That helps you so that you don't get adhesive on the gold piece here. So it's right here, and then we're sticking that on, leaving about 3/8 of an inch, and that's how you get your ribbon so it looks like it's hanging. And I will put another little dimensional on over the ribbon just to keep it in place. Okay, so this piece now goes below here, and I probably should have put my thing down because my little bloopers show. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're taking a glue dot, and glue dots. And we will be putting, these are from Paper Pumpkin. Oh wait, I can use the real ones. Thought I had them out. Okay. So we're taking a glue dot and we're putting it under the beak of the dove. And this goes right underneath the beak, and you might have to kind of crunch it up a little bit so it doesn't show. Okay, oops. And you want it on the beak. Okay. So then we will take the ribbon and sort of curve it a little bit, and then once you have it in place, you just push the beak down and it'll catch the ribbon and adhere to the card. And then we'll just trim off some of the excess ribbon. Attach our bow, again using a glue dot. and we will stick that right on the top of this little nubby thing here on the ornament. So it looks like it's all coming down. And then the final step is doing the Peace on Earth. Again, this is from the Dove of Hope stamp set. I've already embossed it in white on the Mossy Meadow, and now I will just cut around it. If you put a big piece on like that, it just was too much. So I'm doing my cut around thing. It goes really quickly. And if you just keep moving your paper and not your scissors, it makes nice round curves. And we'll just glue that on. And this is flat. Put that down here. And now we have a really pretty card that's subtle but yet effective. Thanks for watching and have a great day.